Guys, Ayreon Magnetism from Universe. This song is from the album The Theory of Everything, which is about a father that attempts to solve said theory, a mother that tries to protect her son, topical, and a prodigy that tries to see through the haze of it all, and a whole story that kind of needs to be understood by listening to the albums. As with everything else Ayreon does, wonderful composition of Ayreon to be credited, of course. Magnetism is kind of a love song, but only to a certain extent. The prodigy rushes to school to find the teacher. He runs into the girl and the rival. He explains that he's left home because his father has been secretly dosing him with a drug. With Tommy Karevik, who's the prodigy, Marko Hietala, who's the rival, and Anneke van Giersbergen, the girl. Wow. This is exciting. This is going to be cool. All right, let's do it. Was that a lie? Trinks. Guys, Cosmic is a legendary troll on this channel because of one video on YouTube. The one time he trolled me, and I fell for it. And now that whole reputation is coming back. The internet doesn't forget, Cosmic. The internet will never forget. Okay. All right, here it is. Ayreon Magnetism from Universe. Let's get some Marko in here. Marko and Anneke. And yeah. Love those voices. Also Tommy Karevik, legendary. Some nice folky fiddle in here. Jeroen! Awesome. I love when he plays flute like this.
There's nothing more to hide. I've got nowhere else to go. Can I stay with you tonight?
Tommy's voice is so good.
After all that you've been through, how can I turn you away? We were always meant to be. I don't care what people say.
Don't you believe that? Don't be a fool. Manipulate you. It's all he wants to do. He will deceive you. You're being used. Don't let him play you. All he wants to do, he wants to be with you.
Nice. Let's talk about genre for 1 second before this picks up. Because prog rock, right? What is that? It's experimental new stuff. What does genre actually mean for us, right? We talk about groups that redefine genres. We talk about genres that are, generally boring to us. We talk about genres that are generally our favorite. What is genre? Genre is a box, right? I bring this up because what do we hear when this starts? It's like folk music, right? Kind of feels like a dance, right? And the instrumentation tells us it's, folky, it's hard, down to earth, it's old feeling. But we know that's not it because we know we've seen enough Ayreon, right? Boxes are totally boring, right? And Ayreon doesn't put his music into a box. And yet it's in the box of prog rock, right? I hear this. If I were to hear this a year ago, before any of this, before any of these reactions, before any of the stream stuff, Capriani nailed it. If Thomas is the metal Mozart, we better start calling Ayreon the prog Mozart. Mozart was prolific because he was able to capture emotion with music of the style appropriately, right? The thing about this, if I were to hear this a year ago, I would say, is this contemporary opera? Because in my world, contemporary opera is like the prog rock of classical music. And yet prog rock has so many elements of classical music, and contemporary opera has so many elements of prog rock. They're literally the same thing, especially the way Ayreon writes. It's the same. So to call something, to label something like that, I just think it's so... nothing here is debilitating because it's in that miscellaneous, you're right, yeah, Antivanti. It's that miscellaneous feeling. But rock opera is something else, because rock opera is specifically, rock music turned into an opera. This is not specifically rock music. It's not. Like, it is and it isn't. It has elements of rock music, but it has compositional elements of musical theater, which has compositional elements of opera. But there's no dialogue here, which would mean it's not a musical theater show by definition, by the box that musical theater is put in. It's more operatic because it's text that is sung to convey a narrative. Right? I can't nail down a difference that would make this not contemporary opera. The only difference here, what I'm trying to get to in this sense. Yeah, so Ayreon, the fun thing about him is that he has different bands, quote unquote, for different genres of styles, and Ayreon is more folk, space, prog. And then you have Star One, it's much more guitar driven. That's much more metal. It has a lot of more synth and atmospheric feelings to it. Absolutely. But that same dynamic, that same level of orchestration holds true for what I would call contemporary opera. The only difference is the people. The people and their history is what has given life to this type of prog rock. You take people who are metal singers, you put them in here. But you have also singers who can do opera really well in Ayreon's music. Good music is good music. And then you have people, and this is the funniest thing. I'm probably going to get blacklisted from the industry for saying this, but you have people in opera who are like gatekeepers, right, for their music. It's like if they write something that, if someone who's an opera person, contemporary opera person, wrote something that sounded identical to this, and someone heard it and said it sounds like progressive rock, they would probably be like, there are some people who would be very upset to hear that. And for what reason? Because it's not the label they had prescribed in their thoughts, right? Because it wasn't what they intended it to be. Compositionally, you could label this as a contemporary opera piece, and it wouldn't make a difference from what it is musically, other than the stigma that someone applies to it when they're writing it. Now, I don't think that someone like Ayreon ascribes progressive rock when he writes this. He has a story and he conveys it because he's good at what he does. And there are tons of contemporary opera composers who have a story, and they want to convey it in a certain way. And they do it with the means at their disposal. And that's what it's about. That's what I'm trying to talk about when it comes to tearing down boundaries within genres of music. Anyway, that's enough of my soapbox for now. Let's listen to more. We'll get into it. We'll try to come in when Marko comes in and enjoy this dark, lurking rival character. Yeah, Mike, you're right.
All he wants to do will deceive you. You're being used. Don't let him play you. All he wants to do, he wants to be with you.
Low in his voice. That was very low, Raven, for his voice. This is so sick.
Let's create a perfect world. Patterns, purpose, clarity.
Nice, Tommy.
How can I ever live without what should I do? What's happening to me?
Don't you
Marko on stage without his bass and with no pants. I agree. You know what? I just kind of realized. You know what is genre? You know, genre is what we discussed a couple minutes ago. But it's also just a data point that people can use to profit off of music more. Is that good? Is that bad? Who knows? But it's a data point. Does that help us in feeling the music more? Does that data point help us in experiencing the music more? Does it help people create music more? That data point of genre? Maybe. Maybe it does.
It's alright. I will keep you safe from harm. Together we can beat this thing before the damage goes too far.
Believe it. Don't be a fool. Manipulate you. All he wants to do. He will deceive you. You're being used. Don't let him play you. All he wants to do. He wants to be with you. Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, Marko and Tommy go really well together because they both have these really powerful tenor voices, but the colors within them are so different. It has to do with the amount of compression that Tommy uses versus the type of distortion that Marko uses to diffuse his sound. Because I don't think Marko doesn't use that much compression in his voice. He really lets it vibrate. But he does use distortion to diffuse that pressure that you get with that type of energized singing. So it's a really awesome, like, metal tenor combination, which it makes my heart swell. And Anneke, dude, it's again that idea of her voice is so consistent in color, and yet she can still evoke so many different feelings. She can ramp up the intensity, and you can hear that in the vibrato becoming more pronounced, right, and a little bit faster and a little bit, brighter, a little bit brighter. But nothing gets too bright to the point where it's like belting, and nothing gets too dark to the point where we hear it as like pure, operatic tone. It's just a really healthy sound it's so balanced in color. Amazing. And it's what Ayreon is at the very least like a master arranger of sounds. He just knows how to put sounds together in a room. Even if someone else composed this music, if Ayreon just became a contractor for composers just to pick who would do what in a show, he would be just as legendary. Like, that's a skill that other people don't have that he has. It's absolutely fantastic.
Don't you believe it? Don't be a fool. Manipulate you. It's all he wants to do. He will deceive you. You're being used. Don't let him play you. All he wants to do. He wants to be with you. Thank you so much. There's going to be some happier triangles in here too.
So we talked about Remarkable. All the singers that Ayreon uses, Forkless, all these singers that Ayreon uses are generous in nature. There are no urges. Yeah, they're not. There's no ego in the singers that he chooses. And you know what's cool is that there's so much crossover between the singers that you sing in Ayreon and the singers that you guys are interested in to bring up on this stream. And I feel that same way about this community that's been cultivated. There are very few egos, and sometimes some egos will show up in the Discord, and they'll very quickly leave, because there's not really room for what we do here for ego. I really, I do the streams and I talk about the things, and you guys watch me a lot, but I try my best to not be an ego about it. I try my best to supply you guys with useful knowledge as far as it can go. Music is necessary for living, but it's not necessary for survival, and so I want to do my best to enhance that for you guys, to bring whatever value I can. But that's the point, No ego in this community. There's no room for it. And if I ever get an ego, just slap me. I don't know how that would work. If I ever mention the number of likes a video needs to get, or that a certain video got a bunch of likes, just unsubscribe and leave me in the dust, please. If I ever start talking that way, just do that. Creepery! Hey! But that's me asking you guys to keep me accountable. That's when the revolution starts, right? Oh, man.